Thanks to our friend Beryl, the hurricane, tropical storm, both actually, we managed to miss 2 days of readings because there was no way on earth I could get online on Monday, and yesterday was no better. Ergo, therefore, here I am finally. The power came back on initially just before midnight last night. It lasted about 20 minutes, then it went off again. And then, at least in this area, and then it came on at 3:37. How do I know? Because it woke me up when it came on with lights and things coming on in the house that have been set automatically. So we have power, thank goodness. I know some of our people don't have power, and I am keeping them in my thoughts and prayers. So I'm hoping your power will come back on very soon if you don't have it. Also knowing safety for everybody who is without power and for anybody who suffered any damage during this hurricane and tropical storm, which is still going on, of course. It's still traveling further north. I really wondered whether I should start with Monday's reading and then do Tuesday and Wednesday. But what I decided to do, I read the reading, and today's reading for Wednesday, the 10th of July, really lends itself more to this situation than the other two. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read today's reading, and then I will catch up over the next couple of days with the other two readings. How's that? Well, you can't really answer, and it won't really matter anyway, because that's what I'm thinking of doing. How can you affect my response? Text me, email me. Do it. Today's reading is called God or the Divine Spirit, the Infinite, is in the Response. And the first quote was from Viktor Frankl, who I'm sure many of you know was imprisoned in a German prisoner of war camp and actually in one of the extermination camps. He was only kept alive because he was a doctor. His wife and a lot of his family were killed by the Germans. Sorry, should I say the Nazis? Because not all Germans were Nazis. He said, life is never unbearable by circumstances, but only by lack of meaning and purpose. And if he could go through all that and say that, then it's got to be something that the rest of us needs to take notice of. Ernest Holmes in It's Up to You says, and I'm going to change the words somewhat here, okay? Each one of us, in turning to the great inner life, is turning to the divine. Whoever penetrates this inner life will find it birthless, deathless, fearless, eternal, happy, perfect, complete. Gradually, there dawns in consciousness a sense that the divine, or the infinite, is flowing into everything. And that's from It's Up to You by Ernest Holmes. And how do you do that? Well, you do it by going into prayer and meditation. And however you define prayer, however spiritual or not spiritual you are, but going into meditation brings us into a connection with the source within us that, according to Ernest Holmes and many others, is infinite. And it's timeless, and it's deathless, and it's always there. Reverend Josh Reeves now talks about a real experience that he witnessed and was able to some extent, to help with. On October the 12th, 2011, as we sat outside of our sanctuary, that's the church, in Seal Beach, California, a mass shooting occurred across the street. 8 people were murdered. We did what we could to help, as families came into our church to await the confirmation of what they already knew, that their loved one was gone, taken in a flash of senseless violence. I was that local pastor who appears on the news to share how shocked we all were and how terrified, and that we couldn't understand how someone could do something like this, and how the community was also coming together with such love. As true as all this is, there was another truth that is only just as shocking in these times, and we most often can list at least 10 reasons why someone does this. The most true thing at that moment was certainly the response of love from the community. And he's talking about that greater community in the area there. Community support and unity and neighborly caring and thoughtfulness. That's how it should always be, right? Many of us struggle to look at tragic incidents and to, quote, find the divine in them. I'm not saying the divine isn't there, but I have not found this framing to be helpful. It's a mystery, but in my experience, the divine is sometimes not found in the incident, but the divine is found in the response. Consider, the divine is not in the incident, the divine is in the response. Wherever you do not see the divine, answer the call to be a presence for that divine to show up. However you define that, God, the infinite, spirit, the all. So in other words, what Josh is saying is that when we come together as community, collectively, and then we come into it individually, that when we go into that love aspect of ourselves, then that is when, whatever you want to call it, the infinite, the whole, the divine, etc., is present. This is pretty amazing that this actually should come out today, right after our hurricane, because guess what a lot of us from Creative Life Spiritual Center have been doing over the past 24 hours. Well, less than that, probably less 12 hours. No, 24 hours. We've actually been calling, we have a whole list of people who either are or have been associated with our spiritual center. We split this group up into a whole bunch of volunteers, and each one of us was given a list of names, and we've been calling the people on that list to find out what we can do for them, if anything. Being as how things are these days, most of it has simply been leaving a voicemail on somebody's cell phone, and occasionally someone will answer, and occasionally somebody will call back in response to the voicemail. But you know what it's like these days. If you see a number that you don't recognize, and I'm sure most of the people on my list didn't recognize my number, even though I am one of the ministers down there, they're just going to let it go to voicemail, because that's what a lot of us do these days. Is it spam? Is it real? Is it not? And my view is this. Listen, if it's urgent, I'm going to listen to that voicemail anyway. As soon as it's gone down, as soon as the phone's gone down, I can listen to it. And if it's something I need to respond to, then I'll respond to it. And when I leave a voicemail, I've got the same attitude. I leave the voicemail. If it's something that they need, they'll call me back. If it isn't, well, they won't call me back. And that's okay. And that really is okay. So I was just amazed at how kind of close this was. Yeah, Reverend Josh was talking about a mass shooting, but we're talking about a mass incident that left 2.5 million plus people without power, and is continuing to do more damage throughout the rest of the country as it traveled further north. So we're responding. We are doing the loving thing. You know, neighbors help neighbors. You know, I remember during Ike, everybody pitched in on our street here. And one guy was brilliant. He went out there, and before anybody could start jacking prices up, he hired people to come in and cut down and cut up trees that were a major menace and clear our street. So guess what? We all pitch in. So I think that's today's message. It's a message about community. It's an on-point message because it applies right now. And I know that if somebody needs my help, I'm either going to help them, or if I can't personally help them, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to go out there and I'm going to find somebody who can. And if I can't, somebody I know will find somebody who can help them. So I think it's a good message for today, actually. I will catch up over the next couple of days. But I thought that this reading was so kind of on point for today that that's the one I should read. And I actually forgot what I wrote down in the introduction, but it's something like, I am a presence for spiritual love to be revealed. I am a presence for the infinite's love to be revealed. So love is in all of us, and you don't have to be a spiritual or a religious person to recognize that. What you have to be is a person who allows it to come out, and also be an example. And when other people see it coming out, they're going to respond and let it come out. You know, I've read recently of a number of Israelis who are actually seeing the plight of Palestinians in Gaza. And these are people out there, and they're pitching in and helping. One man actually stopped a lot of settlement has been done in Israel by Israeli settlers, and some of them are pretty tough about what they do. They just go steal land from Palestinians. And this man is out there because he knows while he's out there that these people will not steal land from the Palestinians. And also, a lot of Israelis have been helping with wounded and so on and so forth. So it's not clear cut as you might think when you watch TV. It isn't the Israelis here and the Palestinians there, and now the twin shall meet. You know, not all Palestinians are in favor of Hamas. It's just a fact. You know, you can take any group and there's a mixture in there. But one thing is certain, that whatever the circumstances, when something bad happens, and you can define bad however you wish, there are always going to be people who will come out and help. And they may have been the enemy of somebody initially, but when the disaster happens, that all goes to one side. And guess what comes out? Exactly what Reverend Josh is talking about, which is love. That's what I've got for today. As I said, I will catch up over the next couple of days, but this was so much on point, I just had to read it. So once again, thanks very much for watching. Oh, and I'm going to shamelessly plug my class, which starts a week from Monday. The people signing up are looking forward to it, so why not join them? And there's a link down there to show you all about what it's about and where you can go to register. So until next time, and it may not be tomorrow, namaste.